Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to being well-informed.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're plunging into a stack of fresh sources, articles, research analyses.
Lots to get through.
Definitely. We're exploring a world experiencing some truly fascinating and, well, sometimes turbulent shifts.
Yeah, and our mission for this deep dive really is to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge from recent reports. We're looking at international power dynamics.
The kind of unexpected impacts of rapid tech advancement.
Exactly. And, how people are navigating all these complex changes.
We're covering everything from, covert international ops, challenges to judicial independence.
All the way to the surprising energy demands of AI, and even what we're reading for comfort these days.
Right. It's about understanding not just what's happening on the surface, but those deeper implications for our world.
Obviously.
So get ready for some surprising facts and hopefully some aha moments. We want to help you understand what's most important in these stories.
Let's dive in.
Okay, let's jump right in. A major theme emerging from, well, all our sources, really, is a real shakeup in international relations, especially concerning the U.S. and its traditional partners. There's this palpable shift in influence, and pushback. Nations asserting their own paths.
Definitely seeing that.
So to kick things off, imagine this. The Danish Foreign Ministry actually summoned America's top diplomat in Copenhagen.
Wow. Okay.
The reason? Reports that Americans, some apparently with links to the Trump administration, were reportedly conducting covert operations in Greenland.
Greenland, what were they trying to do?
Their goal, according to the reports, was to drum up support for the island's independence from Denmark. Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen, boy, he didn't mince words, called such actions unacceptable.
That's pretty direct language between allies.
It is. It's a bold move, definitely hints at some maybe hidden geopolitical maneuvering in, well, unexpected places.
Yeah, and this incident is quite illustrative, I think, of a broader trend we're seeing. Well, nations, even long-standing allies, seem to be increasingly asserting their sovereignty, pushing back more forcefully against what they perceive as interference.
Right.
It really signals a changing landscape where those traditional alliances, they're being reevaluated, maybe tested.
Absolutely. And speaking of asserting independence, let's pivot slightly to India.
Okay.
Our sources reveal that President Trump recently imposed a, get this, 50% tariff on Indian goods.
50%. That doubles the existing levy, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Doubling it. And this was explicitly tied to India's continued purchase of Russian oil.
That's significant pressure, especially considering the U.S. is India's largest trading partner.
It is.
But placing this in perspective, India's energy strategy is, well, it's quite nuanced, isn't it?
It seems so.
They are indeed buying Russian oil, yes, but importantly, they're doing it through a Western-backed price cap scheme.
Ah, right. I remember reading that.
And what's more, they then refine that petroleum and sell those products to Europe.
So it's not quite as straightforward as just buying Russian oil.
Not at all. Which, raises the question, does this kind of pressure genuinely encourage allies to fall in line? Or does it perhaps actually prompt them to actively rethink their global alignments? Push them away, maybe?
And this is where things get particularly compelling, I think.
Yeah.
India isn't just reacting defensively to this pressure. They're actively pursuing, they're calling multi-alignment.
Multi-alignment. So deliberately not picking a side.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Deliberately not fully allying with any single power bloc. We've seen Prime Minister Modi meeting with China's Xi Jinping recently. All while pushing for pretty significant domestic economic reforms back home.
Like what kinds of reforms?
They're simplifying their goods and services tax, the GST, deregulating various business sectors, and crucially strengthening their financial system.
To weather these kinds of trade shocks, presumably?
Exactly. It looks like a very strategic play for greater independence and, well, resilience on the global stage.
Makes sense. Hedging their bets.
Now, let's turn our gaze over to Brazil. Another intriguing case here of external pressure meeting some steadfast democratic resilience.
Okay, Brazil. What's the story there?
Well, Donald Trump is apparently attempting to shield his ally, Jair Bolsonaro.
Right, the former president.
Who faces trial for allegedly plotting a coup.
A serious charge. And Trump's trying to intervene. How?
The efforts reportedly included Trump's administration imposing 50% tariffs on Brazilian goods.
Another 50% tariff. Wow.
Issuing Magnitsky sanctions, which are usually for human rights abusers or corruption.
Against whom?
Against the Supreme Court judge Alexandre de Moraes, who's leading the Bolsonaro case.
That's direct interference in the judiciary.
Seems like it. And also revoking visas of Brazilian officials. It's quite a package of measures.
Zooming out, this really does recall, frankly, an ugly bygone era, as one source put it.
How so?
That era of U.S. destabilization efforts in Latin America, interventions, support for authoritarian figures, a historical pattern many hoped was, well, behind us. It just underscores the potential for external influence to directly challenge a nation's internal democratic processes.
So what's the upshot then? Is it working?
Well, this is the interesting part. Despite this considerable interference, Brazil's institutions, especially its Supreme Court, are demonstrating a profound determination.
To do what?
To safeguard and strengthen their democracy. There's actually a widespread expectation within Brazil that Bolsonaro will be found guilty.
Really? Despite the pressure?
Apparently so.
Yeah.
Our sources suggest Brazil is, maybe just temporarily, taking on the role of the Western Hemisphere's democratic adult.
That's quite a phrase.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Showing remarkable institutional maturity and resolve, even under intense duress.
Fascinating. Okay, moving on from the Americas, we also have a fascinating but deeply troubling case from Mali.
Yes, concerning the Wagner Group.
Exactly. Their deployment there, it was initially welcomed by the military junta. They wanted to assert sovereignty, fight jihadists.
Standard goals for bringing in mercenaries, I suppose?
Right. But it's unfortunately devolved into what one analysis bluntly called a botched African adventure.
Botched how? What went wrong? Well, one striking aspect here is that despite some initial, maybe highly publicized triumphs, the security situation has actually worsened significantly.
A lot worse. How much worse?
Jihadist-linked deaths have increased dramatically. They're averaging something like 3,135 per year from 2022 to 2024.
Wow. Compared to what previously?
Compared to just 736 per year in the decade before that.
That's a huge jump.
It is. So it really makes you wonder, why did this high-profile intervention by a supposedly elite mercenary group fail so spectacularly to deliver that promised security?
Yeah, what's the answer?
Well, the situation is even more concerning when you look closer. What's particularly compelling and disturbing is that 80% of civilian deaths in the past year
80%
were reportedly at the hands of Malian soldiers or Wagner itself.
Not the jihadists.
Primarily the forces meant to be providing security. The Sentry, an American investigative group, reported on Wagner's alleged racism toward Malians,
Up here.
calling them derogatory names, prioritizing their own interests, taking army equipment without permission, apparently, and outright defying commands from the Malian military.
So undermining their supposed partners.
Exactly. And this has led to deep disenchantment among the Malian forces themselves. It seems the way Wagner operates often through brutal tactics, a lack of local coordination, disregard for the population.
Yeah.
It's just fundamentally unsuited to effective counterterrorism. They apparently murder ordinary Malians and then, surprise, surprise, their essential intelligence informants dry up.
A completely counterproductive approach.
It appears so.
Okay, let's shift gears. Moving from global geopolitics to the incredible pace of innovation, particularly in AI.
Right, the opportunities and the challenges.
Exactly. It's genuinely a double-edged sword, isn't it?
Very much so.
And a major, maybe often overlooked aspect of this rapid advancement is the hidden cost, the very real cost of AI's power demands.
You mean energy consumption?
Precisely. Take NVIDIA, for example. Everyone knows them for AI chips.
The leaders in the field, really.
Their booming sales of cutting-edge chips like Blackwell and these GB super chips. They're driving staggering new power demands.
How staggering are we talking?
Well, a single Blackwell chip, just one, needs about 1 kilowatt of power.
Okay.
And an AI data center rack, just for training these complex models, can demand an astonishing 80 kilowatts.
80 kilowatts per rack. That's huge. Yeah. Like powering a small village, as you said earlier.
Pretty much.
And in the broader context, analysts are predicting a massive power shortfall in America because of this.
Shortfall?
Yeah, potentially somewhere between 17 and 62 gigawatts by 2030. That's if the power grid doesn't pick up its pace dramatically.
62 gigawatts. That's an enormous gap.
It is. And it begs the question, can our existing, often aging infrastructure possibly keep up with these exponential energy demands of the AI revolution? The digital revolution, it turns out, has a very tangible, very physical footprint on our traditional energy systems.
It's this ethereal technology colliding with very concrete infrastructure limits.
Exactly.
It's a surprising fact, maybe.
Yeah.
We often think of digital innovation as purely virtual,
Right. Yeah.
weightless,
Code and data.
but it has these immense physical needs that our current systems are struggling mightily to meet. It's a stark reminder, really, that progress in one area often creates significant pressure, sometimes even crisis, in another.
And, we observe a similar dynamic, though maybe different specifics, in China.
With their innovation push.
Yeah, while their state-led innovation model has produced undeniable successes, breakthroughs in, say, fusion energy tech, advanced display screens.
Impressive stuff.
Definitely. But it's also creating significant downsides. Things like what's being termed involutionary competition.
Evolutionary, what does that mean?
It's where companies basically engage in these vicious price wars just to grab market share, but the result is it lowers everyone's profits and kind of stifles sustainable growth.
A race to the bottom.
Pretty much. You also see resource misallocation and, somewhat ironically for a state-led model, a collapse in private venture capital investment.
That is ironic.
And what's truly noteworthy here is that even Supreme Ruler Xi Jinping himself has criticized the duplication and these fierce price wars among local officials. They're all promoting the same few things, like AI and new energy vehicles.
So even the top leadership sees the problem.
It seems so. It really highlights the inherent challenges of a top-down approach to fostering innovation when it perhaps lacks that market-driven correction mechanism.
Interesting parallel. Okay, now for something maybe a little more palatable, literally.
Uh-oh, where are we going now?
Beer. AI is already changing our taste buds.
AI, beer. Seriously.
Seriously. Breweries across the globe. Germany's Beck's, America's Atwater Brewery, Britain's St. Austell Brewery, they're actively using AI to craft entirely new beer recipes.
How does that even work? Do they feed it tasting notes?
I assume it analyzes vast amounts of data, recipes, ingredients, customer reviews, chemical compounds maybe, and the surprising twist.
Let me guess, people hate it.
Quite the opposite. Customers have often rated the AI-crafted beers better than those made by humans.
No way.
Yes. One brewer even called an AI-suggested lager one of the best I've ever made.
Wow. So our future favorite brew might be concocted by an algorithm.
Could be. It's definitely challenging traditional craftsmanship and showing us AI's unexpected creative potential.
I might have to try one of those.
Me too. But of course, not everyone is thrilled with AI's growing influence, especially when it comes to potential biases.
Ah, yes. The neutrality debate.
Exactly. Our sources bring up President Trump's recent executive order titled Preventing Woke AI in the Federal Government.
Okay. What's the aim there?
The stated aim is to stop AI models from, quote, brainwashing users with left-wing propaganda.
Brainwashing. Strong words.
Yeah. It cites examples like Google's image generation, sometimes depicting historical figures, like the Founding Fathers, as black skin.
Right. That caused a stir. So this raises that big question again. Can AI ever be truly neutral?
What does the research suggest?
Well, the research indicates that most large language models, even ones like X's Grok, which aims for a different slant, do indeed lean left overall.
Why is that?
It often stems from the training data itself, which is scraped from the internet and tends to have a liberal skew. Plus, there are the inherent biases introduced during the human fine-tuning processes.
So true neutrality might be impossible.
It might actually be an impossible goal for any system trained on vast amounts of human-generated data. Humans aren't neutral.
So what's the alternative?
Well, perhaps a more achievable and maybe more beneficial approach is greater transparency about these inherent biases.
Just state the leanings up front.
Or even designing models to consciously present a plurality of viewpoints. Acknowledge the reality of bias in the data, in the human element, rather than chasing this unobtainable ideal of pure neutrality.
Makes sense. Transparency over unattainable perfection.
Something like that.
Okay, so as the world experiences these profound shifts, like geopolitical realignments, the revolutionary, sometimes problematic pace of AI.
It's a lot to take in.
It is, and people naturally look for ways to make sense of it all, or maybe just find some comfort.
Yeah, coping mechanisms.
Right, and our sources touch on how we cope, both individually and collectively.
Mm-hmm.
One really fascinating trend is the resurgence of cozy crime novels.
Cozy crime, like Agatha Christie.
Sort of, but updated. Richard Osman's best-selling Thursday Murder Club series.
Oh, yeah, those are huge.
Huge. About amateur detectives in a retirement home. It's sold over 10 million copies globally. Film adaptation coming soon. It's a genuine phenomenon.
And placing this in perspective, this resurgence of cozy crime, it actually mirrors its first big flourishing.
When was that?
During the turbulent interwar years, another period of immense global uncertainty, societal upheaval.
Interesting parallel again.
It suggests is that in uncertain times, people naturally seek out art and stories that provide, well, succor, a reassuring sense of stability. It's like a psychological anchor against the storms of the real world.
Yeah, and what's particularly compelling, I think, is the specific kind of comfort these stories offer.
What is that?
It's that formula. Something terrible happens, it's solved.
Right.
Right? The bad guys are removed from society, and everything goes back to how it used to be.
Restored order, certainty.
Exactly. A neat, tidy resolution. And that can be incredibly appealing when the real world feels chaotic, unpredictable, and often, frankly, without easy answers.
A sense of control, even vicariously.
Precisely. Okay, finally we come to a truly powerful story. One of peace amidst turmoil.
Oh.
It comes from the obituary of Sengenshutsu. He was the 15th Grand Master of the Urasenki tea ceremony tradition in Japan.
The tea ceremony.
All right. He dedicated his entire life to spreading peace through chado, the way of tea. And his backstory is incredible. He was a former World War II kamikaze pilot.
Kamikaze pilot who survived.
Incredibly, yes. He survived his mission, and that experience profoundly transformed his life's purpose.
Wow. That's quite a journey, from pilot to peace advocate through tea.
It really is. And this brings up a question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In a world that feels increasingly full of conflict, rapid technological upheaval,
Yeah.
what enduring role do these ancient traditions, these personal dedications to peace, actually play in finding meaning, fostering genuine connection?
It's a deep question. His concept, the muhinshu,
What does that mean?
it translates roughly as no guest, no host. The idea is that during the tea ceremony, social barriers, status, divisions, they dissolve.
Creating a space of equality.
Exactly. It offers such a powerful counterpoint to our increasingly divided, polarized world. It speaks to that universal human need for connection beyond conflict and status.
And this is where his story gets truly profound, I think.
Wow, so
He traveled the world performing shado, the way of tea, not just anywhere, but for global leaders like Queen Elizabeth, George W. Bush.
sharing it at the highest levels.
But most notably, perhaps, he performed the ceremony at the memorial above the sunken USS Arizona at Pearl Harbor.
At Pearl Harbor. Wow.
And not for visiting dignitaries or political figures there, but specifically, as he stated, for the souls of the entombed sailors.
That's an extraordinary gesture of reconciliation, of respect.
Isn't it a testament to using ancient tradition to try and bridge even the deepest historical divides?
Yeah.
Really moving.
Absolutely.
So, wow, we've covered a lot today. We've navigated this complex landscape.
We really have.
From nations asserting their independence, shifting global alliance.
Or to the surprising environmental impact of AI.
Right. And then explored how cultural phenomena like cozy crime and these individual dedications to peace offer unique perspectives on finding meaning, finding comfort in such a dynamic world.
It's been quite a journey through these sources.
It has.
And, you know, the sources consistently show us a world that's just in constant flux. Established norms are being tested everywhere you look.
Yeah.
And innovation brings both remarkable progress, like the AI beer maybe,
Perhaps.
but also entirely new challenges like the power grid issue, and often in these unexpected, deeply interconnected ways.
Nothing happens in isolation.
Not at all. It really underscores the importance of developing a nuanced understanding of these complex interlocking forces.
So after this deep dive, pulling it all together,
Yeah.
what does this all mean for you listening?
Well, as you consider the stories we've unpacked today, everything from nations pushing back against tariffs to the immense kind of hidden power demands of AI, maybe reflect on how profoundly interconnected our world truly is.
How might the choices made in one sphere, say trade policy or tech development, unexpectedly shape a completely different aspect of your daily life?
And maybe also, what role do you see transparency playing in helping us all navigate these continuously evolving narratives, whether it's about AI bias or covert operations?
Definitely something to ponder until our next deep dive.